What's going on, everyone? I'm Encore. This is Tomorrow Never Comes, and this video is about which crypto can be the next Bitcoin. That's the question that a lot of people ask: is I'm too late to Bitcoin? The price has gone too far. What's the next one? And that's common in almost everything, right? Who's next? Which one is next? Whether it be sports, who's the next Michael Jordan, the next LeBron? And this, or who's the next Amazon, the next Google? Everyone's trying to find that. And same thing here happens in the crypto space: is who is the next Bitcoin? Which crypto is the next Bitcoin? And what's my answer to that? There won't be one. Okay, this is my opinion, but steeped in a lot of things that I want to show you guys today. All right, so first thing I'm showing here is just the market cap of Bitcoin. All right, so we're looking at 400 billion now. At its all-time highs, Bitcoin's market cap had crossed 1 trillion on its own. The entire crypto market was around 3 trillion at its highs. So a third of that was Bitcoin alone. Okay, Ethereum or Ether here is half of Bitcoin. Okay, so 200 billion, and then the next one over. I mean, these are stable coins. They don't count, meaning they don't fluctuate. They peg to the US dollar, so their value is not going to go up or down. BNB, 47 billion. XRP 17 billion. So quite a big drop off. Okay, so you can imagine the amount of adoption or uptake in those projects to ever cross even just Bitcoin's market cap. But the question is, in terms of what crypto can be the next Bitcoin, is to me beyond just how big can it grow. Can it grow to the same market cap? To me, it's all the inherent properties of Bitcoin. Can something else come along and replicate it? It's always possible, but I don't think so. I don't think it's going to happen. Okay, Bitcoin has been here for 13 years, around January 2009, so it's got history behind it. Most of these projects don't, especially to that length. Okay, Bitcoin is borderless. Bitcoin is permissionless. It's censorless. Okay, so a lot of these projects that come out now, they're able to be manipulated based on who owns the most, right? So if you can do certain things, fluctuate in terms of the price point. So there's volatility inherently built on those who own the most. That's there, okay? But also within the protocol itself, Bitcoin, while it's slow and sluggish, or maybe not as creative as the other protocols, it does not get hacked. All right, and it just does what it does, and it does not care about your feelings, my feelings, or anyone's opinion. It is a secure network that maintains its stability regardless of what's happening in the market. Price point and fundamentals are two totally different things. They don't have to align. They can, but not necessarily. And in this case, they're definitely not aligning. Bitcoin is super cheap right now. Could go down lower. It's always a possibility. But for where the fundamentals are, it's extremely cheap. Okay? So some of the things I want to show you. So just from a market cap perspective, any other project that would have to come in would have to have immense uptake to the point that it surpasses this low 400 billion that's out here for Bitcoin. So just on a market cap, no other crypto is going to do that. Now, some always talk about flipping. So ETH flipping Bitcoin. I mean, there is that. It's only half. It's only half of the market cap of Bitcoin. So it's always a possibility going forward, depending on ETH adoption going forward, and the merge and everything that's going to happen. Is it going to make it as seamless with less headaches? So lower gas fees, faster transactions, all those things. If that's the case, market cap wise, it could definitely surpass. It could. But like I said, market cap or price point, that's not fundamentals. And so even if ETH were to do that from a market cap perspective, its whole protocol is different. They've went from proof of work now, transitioned to proof of stake, which comes with some things that are inherently less secure to some degree, or less the ability to manipulate has come a little bit more. Okay, so we'll see. Just like you guys, we'll see what happens with the merge. So market cap wise, it could happen, and ETH would be the only one right now that could do that, which is still not guaranteed. Okay, but I want to go here, and this right here, if you guys look at the screen, is the amount of institutional money that's in Bitcoin. Okay, so from an ETF perspective, you have almost 830,000 Bitcoin. We're looking at $24 billion just from an ETF. Okay, countries have 50,000, almost 51,000, maybe even more now. Okay, so about a $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. Public companies and private companies make up for another 14 billion. So you've got public institutions that are already in here, or public companies or private companies, but large institutions that are in this, including countries. Now, in order for a country to adopt another cryptocurrency, that's quite a leap. Okay, now in the U.S., Bitcoin and ETH are not considered securities, so those are really the only two that can compete at that level. Everything else would have a much more difficult time to be adopted to this rate. But even after all those numbers I gave you, like the number of Bitcoin is about 1.4 million held by these institutions, which makes up roughly almost $40 billion worth, but it's still only 6.5% of the total supply. So even with that much institutional money in, it's such a low amount of the total supply that the manipulation is not there. Okay, so that's another important part. But above all is the rate of adoption. And this always blows my mind. Okay, in our lifetime, the internet has been the fastest adopted technology we've ever seen. Right, and it grew. Now here it's saying 85% year over year is the rate of adoption. Some have put it around 60%, but let's say 60, 80. I'm even good with 85%. That's fine. So year after year of the internet, it was adopted 85%. Okay, that was the growth year over year. So every year it's going up 85% in terms of adoption. Like Bitcoin itself, now this says crypto adoption, but Bitcoin itself is about 113%. Okay, so crypto itself as a whole is 165%. But Bitcoin is around 113, over 100%. So if we look at a technology we know that we cannot live without, which is the internet, and everything that comes with it that's made our lives better, and now it's second nature to use that technology without ever thinking about it, and you can't even think about a life before it. Those of us who weren't before it, even we have a hard enough time. So if that technology is being adopted, if that technology was adopted almost 75% less than the current technology. So Bitcoin at 113%, this one the internet 60 to 80%. So depending on where you look at it, there's such a vast difference in terms of how fast the internet was adopted versus how fast Bitcoin's been adopted. Okay? That should put things into perspective. So no matter what you may think of Bitcoin now, it's still early. And it's kind of where, if you think the internet was, 2005, 2006, somewhere around there, right? So early. But here's the thing though. So that's rate of adoption. But in terms of actual usage, we have maybe about 300 million users or so of crypto in general, and Bitcoin specifically, right? And so what happens then is that you look at how many users there were of the internet and in what time period. And it's 300 million users or so, maybe 300 to 400 million. You're looking around 1997 for the internet. So if you use those in parallel, the highest rate of adoption for the most adopted technology, the fastest adopted technology, is the internet. Bitcoin outshines that over a 13-year period. by a vast amount, and the number of users we currently have in Bitcoin, the fastest adopted technology, sits at where the internet was in 1997. How early are we? If you could get in and benefit from early internet by investing at that time, if you had the wherewithal to understand what it was going to be, you'd be sitting pretty right now. So we have kind of like a second coming. Okay, we have a technology that is new, that people laugh at, just like they did with the internet, think it's a fad, just like they did with the internet, and think it won't be around or have use cases going forward, just like the internet. Okay, it's being adopted much faster, and we still are very early. So for these three things, and here's the thing, look, even beyond that, this crypto market does not move without Bitcoin. Now, the gains, in terms of percentage gains, can definitely happen more in different coins. So if Bitcoin goes up 100%, there are coins that could go up 1,000% or 400%, for sure. That could happen. But can those coins surpass not just price point, but the value, the fundamentals of Bitcoin, and what it means financially to those of us who can't benefit from what the major institutions benefit from, the algorithms that help them, the financial advisors or financial tools that are only available to the super wealthy. Bitcoin kind of solves all of that for us. At least it got us started on this path. And when you have responsibility for your own assets, it's a game changer. It can be scary because you're responsible. If you lose it, it's on you. Yeah, for sure. But I'd rather have that. That means that I'm in control. I can't make excuses. And when things do well, I'm going to know that that was my responsibility as well. All right. So in short, there's no other cryptocurrency that's going to be the next Bitcoin. All right. So guys, just remember, tomorrow never comes. Take action. Invest in yourself today. And I'll see you guys in the next video.